Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about communication. And communication is when you try to get a message across or try and tell somebody something. This could be a verbal message with your words. This could be a written message that you write down, or this could also just be through your body language. If you're smiling or frowning or crying, all of those send different messages to people. So today, I want you to think about all of the ways that people communicate. Sometimes they send messages in a variety of different ways. So this could be in an email, which we're probably doing a lot of right now with our distance learning. Maybe you've received some letters in the mail or postcards in the mail. Those are ways to communicate. Even a text message or FaceTime, those are all ways to communicate with different people. Smiling and waving at another person could also be ways that you communicate with them. Those are through your body language that you have. There's a lot of animals that also send messages to each other too. So birds make certain calls to each other. Dogs might bark a different warning, either maybe to their owner or to other dogs around them or other animals around them. And then they also wag their tail if maybe they're saying hello or telling you that they're happy. They also send messages in that way. This week, we're going to be reading the story called The Journey of Oliver K. Woodman. And this story tells of how people help this very, very quiet man, Oliver, send messages in an interesting and kind of amusing or funny way. So as you listen to this story, I want you to think about how are people communicating or how do people communicate over a long distance? So Oliver goes on a travel adventure and he is able to communicate with people over a long distance. So think about how people communicate as they travel. Now, sometimes when an author writes a story, they might include letters that are written by one or more of the characters, and that's what happens in this week's story. As we read these letters, it's going to help us as the reader analyze, which means think really deep about something, in order to better understand the characters' thoughts and what they're feeling. So, we're actually going to read some letters by the characters to really truly understand what the characters are thinking and how they're feeling. And so, each page of the story is going to be set up in a letter. Now, I want you just to stop and think for a few minutes. I want you to think about when we were in the classroom, how did we communicate while we were at school? So, how did you communicate with your teachers when you were at school? And how did you communicate with your friends when you were at school? And I also want you to think about now, as we are doing some distance learning, how are you communicating now with your teachers? And how are you now communicating with your friends? Are there some of the ways that are the same? Or are there other ways that are now different? Your job for today is to start with read to self. So we would like you to be reading for at least 20 minutes on your own. Okay, so this could be maybe a chapter book or a novel that you are just continuing to read a little bit each day. Maybe this is a stack of picture books. Maybe this is a magazine or a comic book or something else that you are spending some time reading for at least 20 minutes every day. Maybe for you, it's a good idea to get a box or maybe even a Ziploc bag and put a bunch of books in there and pretend that you have a book box or a book bag like we did in the classroom and set aside some time every day to just read through that book box. Maybe set a timer for 20 minutes. But we would like you to do some read to self for 20 minutes. The next thing that you must do today is to go onto RazKids and look for the assignment tab. Each one of your teachers this week is going to assign you a story, and we would like you to complete your steps for that story. So some of you are going to listen to that story, and then others of you are going to read it and then take the quiz. And remember to complete all of your steps so that your teachers will know that you have done your assignment. You do have a few may-do options this week as well. So your first may-do option, since we're talking about communication, is to watch these two videos on BrainPop Junior. One of them is all about email and sending an email and what does that look like. And the other one is sending a letter. If you have forgotten, the username and password for BrainPop Junior is over here, 112CRE, the password Clover for each of those videos, and you can click on the pictures of the videos to get to that website. Option number 2 is a license plate game or a little license plate challenge. So there are 7 license plates that are written with kind of a code. And your job is going to be to figure out what is that code that is trying to be communicated through the license plates. Now, you can click on this blue word over here where it says license plate abbreviation, or you can go ahead and click on this document. Both of them are going to take you to the same view-only document. So you are not able to edit or type or make changes on there. Rather, just use it to look at the abbreviations and then write your answers or record your answers on a scratch piece of paper. Your third option today for Maydo is a writing prompt. So, like I told you earlier, the story this week is about a gentleman named Oliver, and Oliver travels all over the United States. And I want you to think about and creatively write a story. What if Oliver were to come to Chaska? What would you want to show him? What is something that is unique to Chaska that other places don't necessarily have? Where would you take him? What would you tell him about the place that we live? So you can go ahead and write that on a scratch piece of paper. Maybe you want to type it in a Google Doc and share it with your teacher. Whichever one of these options, if you choose them, remember that they are options for today. All right, boys and girls, I hope that you continue to practice communicating at home today and remember what communication is as we continue learning through Oliver K. Woodman this week. Have a great day.